time once again to slip into your camo, grab your bow, and join us out in the field for another episode of the Up North Journal, presented by PSE Archery. The Up North Journal crew is knocked and ready to rock for another exciting adventure. So let's step outside and hit the trail.
This episode of the Up North Journal podcast is brought to you by
PSE Archery,
Spot Shooter Archery,
Easy Cut,
Packer Max,
Hunter's Blend Coffee,
Scent Lock,
Scent Blocker,
Limb Walker Game Calls,
Buck Baits,
Gut Check,
Stanislavski Release Aids,
Copper John,
Fourth Arrow Camera Arms,
Wind Sense Vapor Hunting Products,
and Rebel 6 Rubs.
And don't forget, you can catch us in syndication at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on goodtalkradio.com.
Welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal, everybody. I'm host Mike Adams, sitting in the cabin tonight with Dan DeFall on a rainy, cool Sunday evening.
And it started to rain at 12:30, and I don't think it stopped.
No, it hasn't. It rained yesterday. It's rained today. What are you drinking there?
You know what? It's kind of cool outside. So I'm drinking my Hunter's Blend coffee. And don't forget to go over to huntersblendcoffee.com and use the promo code that Mike is pointing at, UNJ, and you'll get 10% off your order. And then besides that, you can go on over to Buck's Baits. Go to buckbaits.com and get 20% off your order when you use the promo code Up North Journal. And
your favorite, huh?
Right, absolutely. Rebel6rubs.com. Use the promo code North Journal. You'll get 20% off your order there.
That's not it.
No. We got one more for you. If you're looking for a game call, we talked to him 2 weeks ago. Go on over to jpogamecalls.com. You can get a 10% off your order at checkout when you use the promo code Up North Journal, and that's good till November 15th of this year.
So help the people that help us out. Go over there and get you some good stuff, and they've got some great deals going on right now. So go over there and check them out.
Exactly. So my brother says rain, building a blind in the rain is not fun.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Oh, I warned him.
You should have done it earlier. The season's getting here.
Right, exactly. So,
how do we start tonight's show?
Well, you start by saying this. If you've been not paying attention to Facebook in our feed, it'll be news to you. If it is, then you understand why we're going to save our first segment talking about a dear friend we lost. Jim Beasley, the owner of Spot Shooter Archery. The news we got late Friday night by a phone call kind of stopped the world a little bit because you don't expect this at any time. And you're right there. The bow community, the hunting community, lost a state champ.
I still can't fathom it. You know, yesterday we all gathered over at the shop. What was there, 10 or 15 of us there?
Yeah, it was packed. It was there was at least all the workers were there.
Pro staff,
a lot of the pro staff was there, and customers, because here we are 3 days before season here in Michigan, and everybody's coming in, whether it be a crossbow or bow or whatnot. And when they were told what happened, it was the same comment. Well, I just talked to him X.
Right.
And one guy, it was the day before, actually a coworker of mine posted that Jim had just built him new strings this week.
Okay.
And it seems...
I seen him last time 10 days ago.
And I'm trying to remember. I think the last time I seen him was the last night of league, I think.
Okay. Well, I stopped...
Actually, no. I went over.
You stopped
there.
over the shop.
I stopped over there with Kelly, I think. Yes, with Kelly.
You were working on her bow.
And Jim asked a practical question. Can you see through your peep sight? Yeah. It was funny. It was comical. Actually, it was Jim being Jim because she had on one of those peep sights that has the tube.
The straightener.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she was having issues with that. And I said, you got to get just a regular peep. Mm-hmm. So the joke was by Jim, in typical joking fashion, you're moving up to a big girl peep. So, and that was the saying. Okay, here you go. You now have a big girl peep.
Yeah.
So Jim loved the younger crowd, loved kids. He always had an area in the shop in the corner with older bows that he would take as donated, and then he would make sure they got to people that actually needed them and didn't really cost them anything.
Right.
And the picture you're showing now, speaking of kids, he worked with your kids extensively, and he worked with my Kelly too. Mm-hmm. But there he is with Jake and Maddie.
Yeah, those are a few years old, but
it goes to show you it's in his old shop, but that's what he loved to do.
Yeah,
and also it didn't matter whether it was a 5-year-old or a 85-year-old. He loved to work with you.
Did you happen to say it because of that picture of me? I'm not 85. But no, he did. He worked with everybody.
That's good timing on my part.
It was. I thought you did that on purpose.
No, I did it. But, I don't know how many times we went in there and had him help set up our bows with us and do exactly what you did here, shooting. Mm-hmm. And, of course, it was always fun. It just wasn't that serious. And that's the way he liked it. He liked it relaxed. He liked it having fun. And matter of fact, you just the 10 days ago did a video drop of him over there.
Yeah, I got it right here. So we'll play it for you.
Well, it's hard to believe October 1 is right around the corner. And for those of us that love hunting, that means archery season. With me is Jim Beasley at Spot Shooter Archery here in Holly. Jim, it always amazes me. I talk to people and they say, hey, I found a great bow at a garage sale and I'm going to get up in a tree this year and bow hunt. It's a lot more personalized than that.
Yeah, well, good luck with that.
Yeah,
that's,
right.
That's good.
Talk to me a little bit about what you go through with somebody that comes in as a first-time shooter.
Well, everybody wants to save money. And the thing that people don't realize, you have to be custom fit for a compound bow. The worst thing you want to do to turn people off is give them a bow that doesn't fit them.
When you say fit them, describe what it is.
Your draw length, your poundage. Another thing is the string. You can get a used bow at a garage sale or whatever. If the strings are bad, there's a lot of money invested in the string and the tuning part, so that you have to take that in consideration.
Describe tuning. It's not like tuning your car.
No, it's not. You got to make sure that the strings are the right length for your bow if they haven't stretched. The first thing we do is make sure the timing, both cams hit at the same time at full draw.
Okay.
Then we work on center shot, peep alignment, the bow fit, all that takes in consideration.
I guess what you're saying is for the first-time shooter, you need to come in and talk to somebody that knows what they're doing.
Absolutely.
Talk a little bit about now the seasoned shooter. I love to bow hunt, but I'll admit I haven't been out practicing like I should have been. Give me some tips on getting tuned up.
Well, most of your bow shots are going to be around 20 yards or less. So if you can practice at 20 yards would be good, or even less, and realize that some of your shots are going to be closer than 20. So really get that 20-yard pin zeroed in and learn how to shoot a little low on it at 20, maybe a little higher up to 30 yards. So practice your shot.
For the bow hunter that's had many years of experience, anything new this year in archery that we should know about?
Yeah, we've got some bow lines here to have up to 90% let off. And a lot of our bow hunters are getting older.
Sure.
And realize you don't need that 70-pound like they used to, 70 to 80-pound bows like the old days. They've got a lot of these bows perform better at 50 pounds than they used to, say, 10 years ago at 70. So make sure when you're in that tree stand, you get cold, that you're able to pull that back. So it's got to be comfortable. The poundage has to be comfortable, and you don't need the high poundage anymore.
Oh, that's great to hear. All right, Jim, appreciate the information. Again, I assume things are picking up. Archery season's right around the corner.
We're doing great. We're enjoying every bit of it.
All right, Jim, appreciate the information.
Thank you very much.
You bet. Well, listen, if you haven't gotten out and practice, you better do it because archery season's right around the corner. For ABC 12 News, I'm Tom Wright from Williams Gun Sight Company. Back again next week.
That was the last time I saw him.
Right, exactly. You get taken aback by how things are basically here today, gone tomorrow, as to how, if you want to say, fragile life is.
Absolutely.
And you're right, Ron. We'll definitely miss our friend and mentor, coach that he was. He coached. He asked his opinion on anything. He would give you his input. But it's just amazing, and his wife Bibi as well. Just they were basically inseparable.
Everywhere you've seen him, you've seen her, and vice versa.
Exactly.
They're there at ATA. We ran into them almost every year at ATA.
Yeah, exactly. We ran into him at ATA. She had her hip replaced. He was there. When he had some issues, she was there. And you could see them both working together. And he just wasn't an archer.
No, he was an outdoorsman as well.
Yeah, and he lived on a lake, and This was on his lake, and I remember this because he was pretty proud of it, that this big of fish in his lake was pretty amazing.
Right.
You know, and we went out there ice fishing the one year, and we had a great time. I think we did an episode from the ice.
I think we did, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, we did. We recorded it while we were in the shanty.
Exactly.
It was pretty windy that day, if I remember right. We had to stake everything down.
Yeah, it was windy.
People were chasing buckets across the lake.
Right. It was windy, so that was pretty cool.
Jim and his famous chili.
And we had, warm us up, and he used his chili. It was really good. And then there, you know, he went into turkey hunting as well. And he also deer hunted. So did BB.
Yeah,
and
I didn't get any pictures. I couldn't find any pictures of him and his deer.
I was looking for the one. I remember he's got a couple of pictures. But we couldn't find them. But he definitely was he was a hunter and she was a hunter, and he looked forward to October 1st just as much as anybody. And he would try to sneak out before the shop opened. Yep. You know, because he knew he had to be back at the shop by 10.
Right.
So he would try to sneak out and get there and find out for what the couple hours that he could do. Or if he got one, he might have been a little late.
That's right. The shop might open a little late. But this picture I got right here, I took this summer. But this was in the old shop before he moved over to the new place. And I brought my target bow in, and we were talking about something. I don't remember exactly what the conversation was.
What did this have to do with about the issue with the bow? You couldn't get it right, and was he thinking of that?
I don't remember what it was. No, this was when I first brought it over there the very first time. I mean, to set it up, and we were going through and what I was going to get for it to get it set up for a target bow, and he's just in deep thought. You know, it's like, let me think on that for a second, and I don't know why, but it just he had a pose going there, and I took that photo, and I remember him sitting in that stool a lot.
You know, I remember, I don't know how many times, you're right, whether you were looking into the workroom or you were looking over the half wall. Mm-hmm. If he wasn't doing a string, he might have been sitting, and that he had that on that look, that pose of let me think on it. And it took us sometimes with him. We had to use 2 cameras to capture
the essence of Jim.
The essence of Jim, because here I am taking a photo of you using the camera to photo Jim. Yeah. So this was a few years back. I think we were running through the PSE line at the time. And it took us 2 cameras to capture his essence, and you know he started coming around to how things worked and stuff, and
social media
he
wise,
was getting into social media a lot, and he was learning. And let's go live. Yeah. Okay, let's go. We'll go with it. You know, so but
he leaned hard on you and me there towards last winter about joining this league, shooting leagues.
And then we picked up archery, and then we were going, you know, we started looking into this league thing, and then he started pushing on us. You got to do it, right? And then he pushed on us, and we shot all winter long. And
we shot better throughout the year.
Absolutely. I think,
you know, it
wholeheartedly,
helped us so much.
It helped us so much, and I think it snowed on every Sunday.
It did, every Sunday night. And you know, coming up this coming year, if it snows on us coming home, I'm going to say that's Jim just playing another trick on us.
Right? Exactly. You know? I just, the whole essence of Jim, and he didn't care how you shot, good,
he just wanted
bad,
to see people shooting.
He just wanted to see people shooting. You're right. And then from there, as the year went on, he decided to take a chance of a lifetime for him, to move to a bigger shop and add a range, a range, and have leagues.
Yep.
And he had his dream come true. He opened the shop. He had his first league, and he was shooting longbow.
Yeah, he didn't want to shoot.
He didn't care. He didn't want to shoot.
He wanted to shoot something different.
He wanted to enjoy it, shooting his longbow, and just have fun. And he even said that the first night. He goes, "Hey, if you even have any sighted in your bow, get up there. Let's start from the beginning with some of you people."
Yep.
And there he is shooting, you know, his longbow, and he was happy just to hit the target.
Right.
You know, and it was funny how we went through that, and he loved it for 4 weeks. He had his first league in there, and I think he loved every minute of it.
Well, he told me that was the happiest he'd been in a long time, was watching everybody shooting and holding leagues within his own facility. You know,
oh my gosh, he was so excited to get this off the ground and get this going, and he was shocked that he almost filled it up.
Yeah. But you know, the things I'm going to remember is all the times that we spent together with him, whether it was at the shop, ATA.
We would always find him. That's Hudala dinner. We were finding him, and it was a good time. And that right there, that smile,
that's Jim.
That's Jim right there, and definitely can't believe that he's going to be gone.
Yeah, this is the last time where all three of us were together.
Yeah, and I'm holding his bow.
That was about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, 3 weeks ago, and I was holding his bow.
But the thing, I think, I took this picture that's coming up here. I took this at least one night. He was looking over everybody shooting, and this is the thing I think I'm going to remember Jim the most. I mean, he was a patriotic man. He's got the American flag. That flag meant so much to him, and it meant so much to him for all of us to be there, and new and old hunters and target shooters alike, all being there at his new facility shooting, and him watching over us. And quite honestly, I think that's going to be the memory I have of him. He's going to be watching. He's going to be watching over us.
Absolutely. I think like I've said the last couple of days, I was on live yesterday, and I said a couple of minutes ago, he'd want us to go on.
Yep.
Yep. And we're going to go on knowing Jim is watching over us like that picture, and because that's what he wants you to do. And I can hear him saying, when you go on, make sure you bring some new hunters and archers with you.
Yep.
Whether it's target or it's hunting.
Teach them, show them.
Teach them, show them. Doesn't matter. And I know what he'll say. He'll say, doesn't matter. Help them out. Help them out.
Yep.
So
it's the way he was.
I met him when he first opened the store years ago, because that's when I bought Kelly her first bow from him, the Martin. And ever since then, it's just, and then when Up North Journal and you and I, we started working with him on a working level. But it just, every year, it seems our relationship was getting stronger and more of a friendship.
Yeah, it wasn't just a relationship of working together. He was a true friend, and I gotta say, this is the first friend I've lost, and this is going to hurt a long time.
It doesn't get any easier, and there'll be moments when I know there'll be moments when I'm going to go bounce this off of Jim.
Yeah.
No, I can't bounce it off of him.
Right.
It just his little tidbits that he would have, his little comments, his little jokes, whether he was answering the phone or he was just saying something, and when he, hey, you want a beer? Mm-hmm. Jim, you're open.
Right.
So?
Yeah. Or he'd tell the kids, make sure you go over to Rite Aid around the corner, get your Flintstones chewables, but only eat the Barney Rubble vitamins. That way you can pull your bow back.
Right. Exactly.
But I tell you what, we're going to go to a break, but we want to leave you once again with a photo of Jim just watching over us. Jim, Godspeed, man. We're going to miss you.
Yeah, absolutely.
PSE Archery has reinvented the way you buy bows.
From now on, you can make the most educated decision possible
by basing your bow choice specifically on your shooting needs and goals.
All you need to do is ask yourself, what kind of shooter am I? What do I want to achieve?
PSE will help find the right category for you.
So, what kind of shooter are you?
Find out at PSEArchery.com.
Welcome back. Second segment of the show. We've got Michigan author, writer, hunter, editor. What title do you not have, Jerry?
We'll go with those. Those sound good to me.
Okay. Right. Most important one I think is hunter. I like that one. That's the one I think that means the most to all of us is getting out in the woods. And our Michigan hunting season starts, in 2 days?
2 days, yes.
In 2 days.
I'm ready. I got my Catchin Deers hat on. Have you guys heard of Catchin Deers?
I tell you what.
Catchin Deers. Back when I used to work in my 20s, this guy would always come in, you guys catch them deers yet?
I tell you what.
We caught our deers, and now they got a catchphrase hat, Catchin Deers. I love it.
Those guys can put out some funny videos. They crack me up. I'm not going to lie.
If I had a nickel for every time somebody asked me that, I'd be a rich man.
Are you catching deer?
I know it. Well, tribute to that. Plus, every Sunday they put a Bible verse on their Instagram and Facebook page. So I was like, I got to support these brothers. So here's my hat.
There you go. So, well, in 2 days it'll be October 1st and 80-something degrees.
Probably.
Well, no,
That's
it's going
right.
to be. It's going to be 80. It's going to be 80-something.
Yeah.
The cold front doesn't come through till Thursday. So, Jerry, have you been scouting? Have you been getting those little pitches? Have you got them tied to the tree yet?
Well, we'll just say I got some nice ones on camera, and I got one specific target buck who's looking pretty good. He's looking pretty good. Kind of resembles this one right here, my favorite back scratcher. So
that's a pretty good back scratcher there. I like that.
Yeah, that's not a bad back scratcher. I'm not excited about deer hunting or anything, but
Hold on, wait,
go
back to that.
I think I saw him 2 years ago twice when he's a nice 9-point. Did not see him at all last year. Now I got some good pictures of him this year. He's a real tall time 10-point. I think he'll break the 150 mark. So
nice.
We'll see what happens with him. Yeah.
Does he have the split brow tine?
No, that's a different buck right
Oh, okay.
there.
I was like, wait. That's a split brow tine. Hold the phone.
Good observation. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, he's tall time like that one there. Though,
Oh, okay. So how old do you think he is?
I think he's at least a 5-year-old now, because I think 2 years, if it's the same buck and there's a lot of characteristics that make him look the same, I think he was 3 years last year. So if not a 5, he's at least a 4.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, he's looking pretty good.
How, speaking of looking pretty good, how's the deer looking out your way with all this wonderful stuff we got going on in the state, CWD and all that good stuff? How's your deer population looking?
Well, I got to be real honest with you. We were in an area, and I think I talked about this before, where EHD I had a number of properties. One property, it took, I think, 90% or more of the deer. I've talked about before, I had like 500 pictures every 2 weeks, and it went down to just this two low does. That's the only ones I was getting pictures of.
Wow.
And we found dead deer all over. But where I'm going with this, we've seen some really healthy big bucks since then. And a friend of mine, I was talking to him. He's a deer farmer, and we were talking this week, and he said, God has a way of cleansing, nature, and actually there were just too many deer, and EHD helped, clean the population down a little, and now look, we have healthier deer. Now, is that a scientific answer? No, but I kind of, I'm in agreement with him, and now, we're facing other diseases. In fact, I don't know if you guys heard the EEE that's being by a mosquito bite.
Yeah.
Or actually humans have died. Well, I literally live, the Binder Park Zoo's on the other side of the fence of my property, and they just had a wolf die there of the EEE.
Really?
So I've had to shoot my bow much earlier in the evening, and and I went to check my tree stand. I usually don't go out, but I wanted to check this one because I want to check its straps. I haven't been out there, and it's an area I can't get to very often. And I checked a couple weeks ago, and there was a raccoon on top of it. And I went to move it, and it was like dying. So I don't know if it was if it was an EEE or if just one of those ones got rabid. So I left it alone. I'll have to go out, and if he in fact died there, push him over off the stand. But
right,
nature's rough, and we're getting hit in some areas.
I tell you what, I've heard more about Triple E at the football game.
Yeah.
Everybody was spraying down because we were in Holly, and they were spraying down. Everybody was.
You would think it was the end of the world, the way they're carrying this through the media. And I know why they're doing it. They want people to protect themselves. I mean, first frost we get, this is over with.
Right.
But
I don't know if you know, since we've had actual human deaths, they found deer dead. They found this wolf. They're spraying our area.
Oh, are they really?
Okay.
Yes, I believe from airplanes.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of, raised some controversy. Is this, what's that do? That's poison, or I don't know enough about it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
you wonder
we're right in the middle of it. And one of the areas I have a hunting property real close to here too.
Well, you wonder what other insects they're going to kill off with that pesticide. It's not like we have an abundance of critters running around like we used to. I mean, they talk about the honeybees and all kinds of other critters that we need, and it always makes you a little concerned when they start spraying stuff.
Right.
So,
but I'm pretty optimistic about the deer season, though. And the way my family hunts, we hunt different properties. So, yeah, we got some nice ones on each property. And I just told you about one target buck. So,
right.
It keeps it's like that Christmas Day thing. Deer season. I mean, it's 2 days away.
Right.
You got that right.
We get the dream about that big buck, There's one I saw last year. I haven't got on camera yet, but I think he's still alive because I saw him real late into December, and he had a massive body on him. I'm really hoping to see him, and I plan on putting a camera in his area when I move out there for the first time to hunting. So, yeah, I got high hopes, and isn't that some of the fun of deer hunting?
Absolutely. Hey, speaking of that, camera, you're talking about cameras. I got a question for you. Have you noticed any of your pics of the deer coming up to sniff the camera?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, no, so why do you think that?
Human side.
Okay, because I was talking with Paul, the guy we met at Archer's Challenge from Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing. He and I asked him, and he kind of said the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking really heavily of using the odor eliminator from Buck's Baits and rubber gloves and see if I can't without spraying the lens.
Right.
Trying to go in there.
Well, I think I'm hearing of more guys doing that. They're taking a lot heavier precaution, checking their cameras less, wearing rubber boots, which I do when I go in. I haven't went with rubber gloves yet, and that's probably the next step that I'll go with. But yeah, I'm hearing more of that.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'll tell you those thing I've been doing. I've been putting them in areas where I think I'll get good pictures, but areas I can drive to.
Okay.
And if it's farm, now I hunt farm country.
Mm-hmm.
So it's to them, it's just the farmer driving his truck to a spot. I get out, check it, get right back in the truck.
Okay.
That helps. And it's, it's not in my core hunting area or, right where my stands are and stuff. And a lot of people don't want them near their stands. They feel even the flash or the humming,
Mm-hmm.
there's those things in your camera that the deer can detect.
Right.
So.
Yeah, and the bears, they love that humming. They think there's bees in there, and they swat them.
Yeah. You want a bear cage if you're in bear country.
Yeah.
I had a bear turn mine 90 degrees, but it ended up being in my favor. Thank you, Mr. Bear.
Well, see, it was a kind bear.
It was. He turned it. I got a picture of him on the stump, and then all of a sudden the next picture, you see this furry thing, and then the next picture after that, it's turned 90 degrees the next morning, and there's a deer walking by. It's like, oh.
See, the bear said, Danny put this camera in the right spot, but pointing the wrong way. I'm going to fix it for him. So
That's right.
And he did.
He turned it.
Well, and I have a big benefit. I live right down here along 94. And I wrote an article for Michigan Outdoor News a few years ago, talk about the Trophy Buck corridor, I-94 corridor.
Mm-hmm.
You look at every one of the counties, Washtenaw, Kalamazoo, Calhoun, Jackson, Wayne County, all the ones along I-94 have put out some world-class bucks. And, it's pretty cool to know we have that potential in Michigan, because you hear a lot of negative talk about Michigan.
Sure.
But what do have all those areas have in common? Well, they're farmland. They have good soil. Also, it's pretty much all private land.
Right.
And, people can complain or argue about the DNR and what they do or don't do, but it proves that when enough landowners that control their own destiny per se about what they do to their land, habitat wise, what they kill, what they don't, we have the potential to shoot some world-class bucks, and we have some every year, as was just proven last year, that Washtenaw monster.
Yep.
I mean, that thing was truly a big buck.
Well, and that's kind of what I've said here for the last couple of years, talking about, doing true quality deer management. The DNR cannot force you to pull the trigger. You are the manager of your own property. And if you've got like-minded people around you, then all of you collectively are the managers of that core area.
Exactly. And one thing I kind of wanted to talk about, okay, so for those of you who don't know me, I write for Woods and Water News also. And every year I cover at least 1 to 2 to sometimes 10 to 12 big buck stories.
Mm-hmm.
And, I see some common denominators. In fact, last year, a friend of mine, we went hunting out west a few years ago. He invited me down to his property along the St. Joe River. For you motorsports fans, his name's Jeff Stanton. He's 6-time national champion motocross racer.
Yep.
Well, he put me on the stand right along the St. Joe River, and these raccoons came out in front of me. And I'm watching them, and all of a sudden they got startled and ran off. Oh, here comes the deer. I turn around with a does are practically under my tree. I'm like, man. I look behind them, big 20-inch buck. I'm like, oh my goodness. So I get all ready while he starts prancing this doe around, and he goes through my shooting lanes too quick. So I go and tell Jeff, I said, there's a nice buck there. He goes, oh, okay. I said, no, there's a nice one. He's at 20 inches. Cool. So he goes, you want to hunt tomorrow? I said, sure. So I go back out and go see it. Well, long story short, his daughter ends up shooting it during gun season and makes the cover of Woods and Water News. So where am I going with all that? Well, that was along the river bottom, thick cover. One big common denominator, if you guys want to know, how do I get a trophy buck? How do I get a big buck? Hunt heavy cover. That is, I guess my number one rule will be use the wind right. Number two rule, find heavy cover. And then a couple weeks ago, I had the privilege of hearing Don Higgins speak at an archery shop here in Michigan. Don Higgins is a trophy buck hunter out of Illinois.
Yep.
He has his own food products now for food plots and such. He shot a number of 200-inch bucks. In fact, he shot 2 in 1 year a couple years ago. For any of you who follow him on social media, he has a couple books out himself on deer hunting. And someone raised their hand and said, well, would you rather hunt food or cover? He goes, I represent a food company, and I got to tell you, if that's your choices, hunt the heavy cover.
Mm-hmm.
So
hunt the thick stuff.
Yep.
I like to hunt the edge of it.
Well, I'll tell you the truth. That's another method. Outside in. So even though when I hunt a swamp, I have some areas where I can get right in the middle of the swamp, but usually it's the outside border of the swamp. So they still have that sanctuary of the thickness, but you're hunting the thick cover, just not invading the cover. So there's part of the harmony of the music behind the techniques,
Exactly, right, exactly.
Successful, yeah.
Because I just built a new stand over Labor Day, and it's on the edge of the thicket, kind of semi into it, I guess. I moved it to where I needed to see a ridge for rifle season, but for bow season, it's kind of more in the thicket. So I blazed a new trail to get in there, and I'll be able to get in there nice and quietly, get up in the stand, and go from there. I want to see how that typically was always a good area. The tree stand was in was nicely taken during logging, so I built a stand right above it.
There you go.
So I can't wait. I put a camera down in there, and I'm excited to get confirmation that the 2 bucks that I know that are traveling that route are still going through there. Hopefully Friday night I'll be happy.
Hopefully Friday night.
And this next weekend's looking pretty good weather-wise.
Oh, I know. The cold front's going to move in Thursday. I'm leaving Friday morning.
That's what I'm going to try to do. I'm switching weekends. I had the following weekend off, and now I'm backing up, and I'm going to see if I can flip-flop something at work this week. Hopefully.
That's an excellent idea, Mike. 2 years ago, a friend of mine, he had a 180 buck on camera, and he had never shot a big buck. And he did exactly that, Mike. He saved his work days, watched for the cold fronts, and finally a cold front moved in and said, okay, I want this day off. He went and hunted all day, and at 4 p.m. he shot him. And I got the text that said, I got him. And I looked at my wife and I go, I got him. That means I opened it up, and then there's the picture.
Nice.
But he did exactly what you're talking about. He we're working men. He has a select number of days, so he watched the weather and went down there and played the odds.
Well, some hunters will do that. They won't even go to the area that they plan on hunting till the wind, the moon, and the cold front all kind of align themselves.
Right.
And then all of a sudden they're hightailing it for that particular stand. And like your friend there, he waited, got there all day, 4 o'clock he had him.
Well, and you spoke about the wind. So he went out there, he went into his morning stand, hunted till 3, and the wind shifted. He's like, and that's where he thought he'd see this big buck. He's like, oh, I can't hunt here, the wind shift. I know another stand will be better for this wind. He went to that wind, or that stand, and then got the buck at that one. So, he kept playing the odds that were best for him and using his intelligence through the whole hunt.
See, that's something I did last year, and I alluded to it one time, I believe, last year when we were talking about it on the show, but switching stands in the middle of a hunt. I've always been very, very reluctant to do that, but the wind shifted hard, and I just I can't sit here. There's just no way it's going to blow the area. I got to get down and move. I didn't shoot a deer that day, but the point was getting down. It finally dawning on me enough and getting enough, I guess, common sense to get down and move versus playing the old superstition. When you can't get down and you move, you're going to spook everything out of the woods. But I think that's key too. Is go with your gut, and when things change with it and move.
Well, I sent you asked for some pictures, so I sent you some pictures. I got a picture there of a 9-point buck. That's a crab claw,
Is that the
gray sweatshirt picture? Yeah, I can't see what you guys posted.
The Archery Buck?
No, he's a gun hunt.
Okay.
I have a gray sweatshirt, orange hat. He's at 9 point with the crab claw in the end.
There you go. We got him.
Yeah, we got him.
Okay. I started on one property and I knew that buck was there. Both my brothers had seen him. I hadn't seen him yet. And he's right along this creek bottom, but it wasn't a good morning spot. And there's this east wind. I went to this other property and I saw a couple bucks, but I kept thinking about this one, kept thinking about that one. Well, I knew I could move in there after the noon hour and be pretty safe. So I moved in there. I call it this stand, we called it the coon tree. It's a big hollowed out stand. It only has a 10-foot stand in it because that's the only thing that'll fit in it. But it has a lot of cover in it, and coons live in it. You hear them walking inside the tree right behind you. Anyways, I saw this buck and I think 4 others all chasing does. And then about 20 minutes before last light, he came in chasing the doe. I go, that's him. And I got him. But I wouldn't have got him if I didn't, play the wind, switch stands, and up my odds. And once again, where was he? Thick cover.
And Southern. So you were using a slug gun?
Yes, I'm in it used to be called the shotgun only area. Now, we can use rifles of the handgun calibers. Tell you the truth, I still use my 12 gauge Remington. I have a rifle barrel, and last year I shot a buck at 100 yards with it late into the December season because we could use shotgun during muzzleloader down here. And, I've shot them at 115, 130, because my gun has that capabilities. I practice with it, and that rifle barrel with Sabot slugs, it works out. So, I do pretty well.
I guess so. And you know what? We're bumping up on a break. So why don't we save some more fun stories with Jerry for the next segment?
All right, let's step outside real quick, and we'll be right back after this.
PSE Archery has always dominated the speed category. Now, the most revolutionary cam system ever to hit the market has perfected the shooting experience. Introducing PSE's Evolve Cam System, featuring extremely high let-off capabilities and the smoothest draw cycle in history. No other cam system has ever delivered this level of total comfort and total control. Experience PSE. Experience performance.
Welcome back. Third segment of the show, talking with Jerry Lambert, down from Calhoun County, Michigan, down in his stomping grounds.
Down in his stomping grounds, and you know what? Speaking of stomping, used to stomp on apples in this state. But
people are stomping mad right now because of the bait ban.
Right, exactly. And you know what? In the lower peninsula, you're not allowed to bait anymore.
Nope.
Don't even put your bird feeder out there.
Right.
Not wise. But Jerry, you've got some tactics because of the no baiting ban, what we can do to help us get around that.
Yep, a couple years ago I wrote an article for Woodswire News talking about decoying deer. I've had a lot of fun decoying bucks. So many of you, if you're deer hunters, and you probably are if you're listening to this segment, how to decoy. You put it, you do turkey hunting, deer hunting, you put a decoy out. Couple things just to fine tune that approach. I always like to put the decoy where I play the wind. So a lot of time, and I shoot better off to my left. So I like to do it because those deer are going to approach from the downwind. So you want to have it so that when the deer approach about 20 yards from your decoy, you got a shot from them. So that should determine where you place your decoy. Now, what other strategies? I very seldom use a doe decoy. I've read this and I've found out through experience. Doe decoys alert does for some reason. Those does will stop and blow at those other does, and then they'll end up freaking out and running off. Whereas if you have a buck decoy, they may stop at it a little bit, but then they usually just go on to feeding. I noticed for some reason, the buck decoys don't bother them as much as the doe decoy.
I was just going to ask you to use a buck or a doe. Okay, so we got our buck decoy out there. We got it in a position where at about 20 yards when that other buck is approaching, you're going to have a good shot at him on what would be favorable to your shooting. Don't put it across your body.
Well, and here's a small tactic, but one more little element I do. It's not as aesthetic, but it looks funky. I put just one antler on it. Now, why? Well, nature is survival of the fittest. Nature is cruel. You think Mean Girls, I never watched the movie, but I've heard about Mean Girls. Well, nature is cruel and mean. And if that buck is going to tuck his ears back and approach that buck, he's looking for a weak spot. And if he sees his side that doesn't have an antler, he's going to approach that side. Whereas if you have both antlers, he's probably just going to face it straight on. But it's just another way of directing his path and putting him in a position where you can get your broadside shot.
So the antler should be on the upwind side.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Now, are you using a true deer decoy?
What do you mean by true deer?
Like it's not like a 3D target with antlers.
No, it's a plastic shell.
Okay. Yep. Okay. And
another thing I do, the gun rags you get, the little white gun rags that you oil your gun with.
Mm-hmm.
I attach those to the tail area, and then put any scent. I usually put scent on the ground, but I also put it on those oil cloths.
Okay.
So I put the scent on there, and that way that white flag, if there is any wind, will give just enough to look like, hair moving in the wind too, just to give it a little more realism, and plus a safe place to put the scent, so I'm not putting it on the decoy.
Right. What scent are you using? Are you using
buck urine?
Okay, that's what I thought. But that's kind of interesting that he used a little white square just to give it a little flicker of fur, not a whole tail.
More like a sight attractor.
Yeah. Because I don't want the white tail out of there.
Right.
Exactly. Boom.
Yep. One other, we can't bait. So I just put a food plot in, like many people. And in my food plot, it's small. It's 30 yards across, maybe 50 yards wide, the one I'm going to tell you about. So I put this food plot in, and it was CRP-like grass, and it's surrounded by a thicket. Well, I left this one little sapling in there, and I trimmed it all down so it has one low branch. Well, I trimmed it all down so it doesn't interfere with any of my shooting. But I also put that one branch, and it's 20, 25 yards from the tree. So now I put a mock scrape. So now my hope is, what do you use bait for? Well, to get that deer to come to your area and in a position in which favorable for a good shot. So I put that overhanging branch and left that one tree in my food plot. Now the juries are very popular in the last couple of years for this, and there's even products coming out where you can, if you have a food plot, you can put this contraption in the ground that will hold a tree. You can cut a tree down, put it there. So it's just another way of bringing the deer to you so that you have a good ethical shot. One way you can manipulate.
Right.
Manipulation. Your manipulation. Plus, it's just fun when you can do something to your area to make that more popular or favorable towards the deer,
Yeah, I did. Danny and I we did mock scrapes for the first time this year. So we're hoping that these are going to up our game a little bit as well. So we're waiting to see how those work.
We're hoping to get some video over the mock scrapes and whatnot. But it's kind of interesting that Jerry, you're giving these tips out that these are actually probably not, except for the decoy. Mm-hmm. But these aren't really new tips. These are tips probably been used years and years and years ago when baiting wasn't even baiting.
Right.
When a hunter was actually not just going to stop off and get some bait, but put some thought into it. Like Jerry said, the whole antler thing, take one off, put it on the upwind side, let nature help you out. Because like you said, nature's not pretty.
Right.
And so...
Well, we've talked about thick cover. I'll tell you the truth. Virtually every one of my big bucks, and a lot of the ones I interview, come near water. Mm-hmm. Or is it just that I hunt near water a lot because that's where big bucks are, is it the egg or the chicken first? I don't know. But I recommend, and I throw these tips out. Yeah, they're old news for a lot of us. There's a lot of people that read or watch your show that hunt every year, hunt hard, and would like to shoot that big buck, and it eludes them. So if you could just incorporate a couple of these, I've shot a lot of deer on creek drainage bottoms. And bow season, I've shot a lot around ponds. My biggest bucks have come near ponds. And think about it, you get these warm spells, and these deer, especially if they're getting their winter coats, and they're rutting, they need water.
Yep.
So if you're near water sources, that just, once again, proves your odds.
I so want to put in a couple of ponds that legitimately big enough ponds that they hold water. I've seen Pat Reeves do this specifically, and they, like you said, Jerry, they've shot numerous bucks coming to the watering hole, and I'd love to get a bulldozer in there and do what they did. But you're right, water is definitely a key source needed.
Well, you mentioned Pat Reeves, and that's the other thing. Where does he put the pond? He don't put it out in the middle of a field. He puts these ponds, or people are picturing ponds. They may picture an acre thing. Pond sometimes is a big old mud puddle.
That's right. That's
10 yard by 10 yard. That's some of his ponds,
Mm-hmm.
or they're a little children's swimming pool that you insert into the ground, add some dirt, type thing. But you put it in cover, places they feel safe to go to during daylight hours, because that's what you want. Hunting hours or daylight hours, and you want to get that buck on his feet and in a position during daylight hours.
Well, let's switch tactics a little bit. You're talking about bucks a lot. Question for you: if you're going to take a doe, would you take it early in the season, or would you let it go later in the season for the late season, or if you're going to take does, how are you going to approach that game?
And just speaking for personal, I take my does usually late season. I get my buck or two, and then I'll shoot the doe real late in late December. Yeah. Okay. I've shot now. Some I just want to get a bull kill to help the confidence of some. So I'll shoot a doe in early bow season too. But come mid-October through November, I don't really want to be shooting does and tracking them all around through my security cover and stuff.
I totally get that. I totally get that. It's. I just wondered how your thoughts were that, because some people have said, no, get in there, shoot your does early, get them out of there, and then do your buck hunting. Some people, like Jerry, wait till after they do their buck hunting.
Well, he said something very interesting here, and I think that it's a key distinction for people that are listening, is the fact that he said he doesn't want them tracking them through thick cover. For us, when we're looking to take a doe at our place early season, which I have no problem with, I would generally not be in that heavy, thick cover. I might be off the edge of a food plot in the staging area. That way, they're not as likely to go bounding into deep, heavy cover where I'm going to go in and have to track them and bust that all up. So I think you made a key distinction in that.
Right. And I also added, that's me personally. Now, if you have a deer tag and it's legal, shoot it whenever you want too. I'm not going to. I'm not going to judge.
Right.
By all means,
my personal preference. That's my personal preference.
By all means, we never tell anybody what to do. You got to develop your technique of whether you're going to take whenever you want. You can take it whenever you want, but if you want to start taking them early or late, then no. This is just what Jerry does. And if I could shoot a doe, it would be nice.
Right.
It would. I would probably, if I could shoot one, I'd probably shoot one this weekend if I could. But since I can't.
Right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's go ahead. Let's take our last break here. We come back. We want to have a little bit of fun, but I've got one more question for you on a tactic. We'll get your thoughts on it. So,
all right.
Let's step outside and we'll be right back after this.
Acceleration is part of PSE's DNA. PSE pioneered the speed movement. Now they've developed the vapor category to help you find the most powerful bows on the market to fit you.
High speed equates to intense power and building the momentum you need to be successful. Are you a vapor shooter? Find out at PSEArchery.com.
Welcome back. Last segment of the show. And when we went to break, I said I wanted to pick your brain on one more tactic.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's late season. We're talking after Thanksgiving, and it can still be the last weekend of rifle season. It might be muzzleloader season. It might be late bow season. Somewhere in that time frame. It's usually cold. We've usually got snow on the ground. Some places, depending north or south, you've got a lot of snow on the ground. But I haven't filled my doe tag or my buck tag. Give us, if you've got a weekend to hunt, what are you going to look for? I know that's a pretty broad question, but I mean, if you've got to get it done, what would be your go-to late season tactic?
Oh man, if you got standing beans and second choice standing corn, that's the spot. If you got standing beans or standing corn, they're going to come to it late season. So that's my tactic. Preach cover. Late season, they're getting hungry. They're coming out earlier. And in fact, I shot one. I don't remember the day. It was late December during what we call the muzzle loading season last year. It was chasing does, and it had other big bucks with it. So, and that was a clover field, but it was a real small clover field in between big swamps. So
food source.
Yep.
Food sources.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Makes sense.
Talking about all these tactics and everything, we spend a lot of time out in the woods. Sometimes less than others, like I did last year, which was kind of nice.
Quit bragging.
15 minutes in the stand, I was done. It was good. But Jerry, not only is he an accomplished hunter, writer, interviewer, he also writes books.
Absolutely.
So what better way to sit on stand or in a stand and read his books? How's the writing going, Jerry, for the books?
Actually, my writing has slowed down a little bit. I'm doing editing for Michigan Bowhunter News. So I hope to really amp up my writing again come the winter months.
Okay.
And then during the deer season, I'll cover, like I have always, some of the bigger bucks in Michigan that have been shot. But you mentioned I've just run into a bunch more people. Trophy Whitetails, TALES, came out in 2011, and I was in my hometown, and I just ran into a bunch of people. Hey, I don't think I ever got a chance to tell you, I read your book. I really liked it. And a lot of people like to have it at their deer camp or just fire them up before the deer season. So it's available at Amazon or my Jerry Lambert author Facebook page. Come over there like that, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. So I appreciate that, guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And
you got 3 other books.
And you got your other books, too. The Hunting Spirit, which has a great picture on the cover of some guy that's standing really high in a tree that I don't know how that tree's not bending over.
You know, I went to Africa, and Africa's kind of like Alaska. They just have a can-do attitude. And I took this picture of the PH, professional hunter. He's looking. I wanted to shoot a zebra. He's looking for zebras, and their attitude is, why go halfway up the tree when you can see so much better at the top of the tree? And I don't know how well you can see. This guy is literally standing at the very top of the tree. There's no branches above him, glassing the plain area. It's just fascinating over there.
Absolutely. Yeah. We got some friends that are over there right now that are, needless to say, they're killing it right now. It's they're having they're having a blast over. I can't wait till they get back and get them on the show.
And then you've got 2 other books, North of Wrong and South Haven.
Yeah, I don't have the South Haven one right here to show you, but North of Wrong is a novel that's sportsman-like. It's about a deputy sheriff who marijuana farmers, when it was illegal in Michigan, infiltrate the public woodlands, and they get greedy, they murder, and the sheriff has to step in and uses his woodsman skills to help solve the crime. And it's called North of Wrong, and the setting is northern Michigan.
I tell you, when I got that book in my hands, I could not put it down. It is an excellent read. It's not quote unquote a hunting book per se, but it does have hunting in it, and there's places in there, if you're from Michigan, that you're going to recognize.
Excellent. I appreciate that, guys, a lot.
And like you said, you can go to Jerry's Facebook page, Jerry Lambert, author, or actually you can just go to Amazon as well, and you'll get the books there. Oh. So
great Christmas gifts.
So we're going to hold him to that author thing. He's got to start. The winter months, we'll start hitting on him. Hey, you writing today? What are you doing over there?
Right.
Good
so we talked about tactics and tips. We talked about Jerry Lambert, the author. But something about music.
Yeah.
He wants to talk about music and find out people's best hunting song.
So
I wanted to finish with something fun. And, there's a lot of controversy out there in deer hunting. And I imagine this will be controversial in a fun way. People are going to have their own opinions. It's going to be fun to see in your comment stage. But I've come with a top 10 list of the best hunting songs. Now, what do I mean by that? Hey, beautiful fall day, you just had a great hunt, dirt roads, gravel flying. What do you want to blast? Or are you in the cabin by the fire, just want something to put you in the mood? So I got a little of everything here. I'm going to give you my top 10. I'll be real curious if Mike and Danny agree, disagree. So I'll start with number 10. One I don't know if you've even heard before. It's called Waiting on a Drop Time by Gunner and the Grizzly Boys, a Michigan band.
Not heard of that one.
Now, I had to be in my top 10 because if you can get Gunner and Grizzly Boys into your band's name.
And Michigan.
You're doing something pretty good.
Right?
All right. Number 9. I'm a big Michigan outdoor TV fan, as is most sportsmen in the state. Just a great show. He put 50 fresh episodes out a year, or 52. And every week they have a song, Michigan Man. And that is done by Mike Ridley. So if you are outside the state of Michigan, you can look it up. if you are in our state of Michigan, you must know this song.
You know this song. And if that doesn't put you in the hunting mood, nothing will.
Exactly. That right there. Number 8's for the old school country people, Alabama's version of Born Country.
Amen.
So I had to throw one out. Now I got to get Leonard Skinner in there somehow. I mean, there's too much dirt, gravel flying, turn up the jams. What they say in Sweet Home Alabama, turn it up, But which one has the hunting theme, and where do I like to hunt? Swamp music. Swamp music, which isn't a deer hunting song. It's actually about it's about hunting. It's about coon dogs, and that's their music as they go through the swamp.
Coon dog hunting is huge in Alabama, along with deer hunting, but coon dog hunting is huge.
Number 6 is a song that I think is still out right now, a modern-day song by Mr. Blake Shelton, God's Country.
Mm-hmm.
And if Michigan's not God's country, I don't know what is. If deer hunting land isn't God's country, I don't know what is. So, number 5 is one you may not have heard, and I challenge you to look it up on YouTube, and I'll bet you money you play it more than once. It's by a lady called Ashley McBride, called Bible and a 44. Have you guys heard that one?
Bible and a 44.
I don't think so.
Nice.
I bet you listen to it more than once. You'll have to get back to me on that.
All right, as soon as we're done with the show tonight, I'll check it out.
Okay, number 4, we're getting to the bottom. It's by a lead singer of the rock group Stain. His name's Aaron Lewis. Can you know what it is? Country Boy. Country Boy by Aaron Lewis, and it's the version that has both George Jones and Charlie Daniels contributing in it also. Now we're to our top 3.
All right, here we go. Top 3.
Top 3.
Still hasn't got to mine.
I know, right? Well,
I know.
Did.
That's probably why it's a top 3 song. Luke Bryan, Hunting, Fishing, and Loving Every Day.
That's my second one.
Okay. Number 2, which just goes way back in the day, and I still love it to this day. Hank Jr.'s Country Boy Can Survive. And then number 1.
We all know what it is.
Mike, Danny, you go up on that ridge, I'll go down in the swamp. We'll get that big buck. Mr. Ted Nugent, Fred Bear. Hail, hail, Fred Bear.
There's no hunter in this world, deer hunter, that doesn't know that song. And if you, I tell you, I play that when I head north and go up to deer camp, and I tell you what, if that just doesn't give you chills and put a tear in your eye and make you want to smack something, I tell you, there's something wrong with it if it doesn't do that to you.
There's something wrong with you. You might as well tear up your deer license if you don't.
That's
know that
right.
song.
You might as well stay south of the bridge, eh?
You just led into it that Amy Jones hit it. It's the Yoopers, the second week of deer camp.
Second week of deer camp.
And
yeah.
I don't know how many times I will hear that when I go into the UP. It is just it cracks me up.
It's a mainstay up there.
That's for sure. But you can't go wrong with Fred Bear.
Yeah.
I was hunting in Newaygo County one time, and we were at this guy across. We were in a camper, and across the way, he came in. He was a friend of my cousin's, and all of a sudden, this noise started, and we're like, "What is that?" And we opened, and he's blasting Fred Bear into the night because he arrived.
He arrived at camp,
right?
Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, there's probably 4 or 5 of those songs I've got on my playlist on my iPod that I keep in the Jeep that I plug in and play when I go to camp. So absolutely.
Good. I hope people have fun with that, and hope maybe someone heard a song they haven't heard yet. And now I got to add one more song.
Sure.
It's not about hunting, but man, it's raw, it's real, it's kind of bluegrass feel. And if you're a believer like me, you got to check it out. It's on YouTube. It's Ain't No Grave by Molly Skaggs.
Okay.
Ricky Skaggs' daughter.
Okay, yep.
She does a version of Ain't No Grave, and it is just lighting up the social media, and it's a great song. So on top of all them, there's my non-deer hunting song that'll get you, put your country vibe in there and let you look at the creator.
There you go.
Absolutely. And going back to the Michigan Man song, that song is right up there with me. That song, they play that song, it just...
And Jerry,
I got to tell you another reason I did it. The second time I was on Michigan Outdoors TV, my oldest nephew of my sister Liz, he kept rewatching the episode, And my youngest nephew, Jacob, he kept making his mom look that song up on YouTube or whatever and playing it over and over and over because he liked the song. And one day I go over there, sure enough, I hear it playing. You know, that's Sammy. He's been listening to it. He's played that song 5 times today. So there you go, Sammy.
Do when that comes on, do you not sing along?
Oh, yeah. That's such a great song.
It is. It is, absolutely. I tell you what. It's a great way to end the show.
You know, and through the tactics, through reading the books, and through listening to your music and jams, which I could throw in a little Kid Rock in there, not gonna lie. You gotta admit, it would not be wrong. It would be wrong not to mention be safe.
That's right.
Right.
You know, whether you're going to be up in a tree stand, whether you're going to be doing whatever, be careful of the broadheads. Be careful of the tree stands.
Tie in.
You said it earlier in the show, Jerry, where you needed to go check your stand because you wanted to make sure the ratchet straps were good. But please take 10 seconds out to think about before what you do.
Yep. Take that extra.
Well, if I could add one more thing to be safe, I coached volleyball, and this is what I told my girls all the time, and I think the deer hunting world needs to hear it. And Michael Waddell is very good about talking about this. Have fun. You know, stop complaining and worrying about whether this person shot that, this happened, what style hunting you use. Have fun. And I think that's what we tried to do on tonight's episode. Just have fun.
Yep.
Amen to that.
Absolutely.
Because you know what? These are fun is when the good memories are created.
Yeah.
Excellent. That's a good line. That's a T-shirt.
You know, and as we saw this week with losing a close friend of ours, you never know when your last hunt's going to be your last hunt. So take advantage of every opportunity you've got to spend it out there. And like you said, have fun with it because it might be the last time you get out there. So enjoy it while you're there.
Excellent. Excellent. Thanks for having me on, guys. And I told you off camera, but I want to say it on camera. Nice tribute to your friend, and I wish the best for his family.
Thanks. We appreciate it. And I know he's going to watch over us this season. So just everybody out there, if you get a second, just, say a prayer for Jim's family. They're going through a rough time right now, and as well as all the friends and the team Spot Shooter. There's a lot of people in the archery world in Michigan tonight that are grieving because of this.
Right, and yeah, I can't say no more than that.
That's it.
I met him one time. He's a great guy. Great guy.
You know what? And I tell you what, if you met him once, then he'd probably remember you, and it's amazing his memory for meeting people at his bow fest, especially his bow fest. That was his signature thing of the year, and as many people as he could get there, he loved to have, and didn't matter what you did.
Right.
So
absolutely. Well, we appreciate you taking some time out tonight, sitting down with us, giving some tips, tactics, and having a little fun, talking about music, talking about hunting. And, good luck to you this season while you're out there. And
good luck, and I look forward to hearing what you guys do.
Yeah, absolutely.
You'll hear all about it.
We got to get back together after season, swap some stories, and get you on again and see how your season went.
All right, sounds good, guys. Take care.
Stick with us after the podcast. We'll keep Jerry on for just a few minutes. But I think we're going to wrap it up.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm stepping on you. But
no, go ahead.
Why don't we just sign off and put that picture of...
I know which one you're talking about. We can do that. So for those of you on the podcast, we know that you can't see what we've been talking about a whole lot tonight. But if you go over to the live stream, we're going to leave you with
a lasting image.
Our lasting image, one of the last photos we ever took with Mr. Jim Beasley. Godspeed, buddy. And that'll do it for us on the podcast this week, folks. Y'all take care.
And don't forget, you can catch us in syndication at 2 p.m. Eastern Time on goodtalkradio.com. This episode was brought to you by
PSE Archery,
Spot Shooters Archery,
Easy Cut,
Packer Max,
Hunter's Blend Coffee,
Scent Lock,
Scent Blocker,
Lim Walker Game Calls,
Buck Baits,
Gut Check,
Stanislawski Release Aids,
Copper John,
Fourth Arrow Camera Arms,
Wind Sense Vapor Hunting Products,
and Rebel 6 Rubs.
Thanks for listening, and join us again here next week. Until then, remember, as we always like to say, if you're out on the water or in the woods, shoot straight and be safe. Until next week on the Up North Journal.